Hi y'all, welcome to the Entangled Cynic podcast, episode 7, Choose You, Escaping the Performance of Peer-Pressured Socializing. I am the Entangled Cynic, your host. So today we're diving into something that's honestly long overdue. We're talking about the quiet and often nowhere near as quiet as we'd like it to be, but still somehow always heavy pressure to show up socially, even when your whole being is screaming, no! Yeah, I worked hard to get that one right. How many times have you forced yourself to go out when you didn't want to be on, to laugh at the same joke you've heard 10,000 times before and it hasn't been funny for the last 9,999 times? How about that small talk, huh? Oh yeah, you just start to feel like a monkey on a leash. I mean, it's all a performance. You're an actor wearing the mask they expect you to. Having the personality, the likes, the dislikes, the quirks, though only as much of each of them as they can handle. Because if they really knew those likes, dislikes, and quirks, you know they wouldn't accept you. So even when your peace tank is grinding on empty, you go. Well, this episode is for all my peace and solitude loving siblings out there. Today is the day you get that permission you've always wanted and felt you needed, though you never really didn't need anyone's permission but yourself, to choose yourself. So let's say it's Friday night. Monday through Thursday drained you like a nest of vampires that just crawled out of their coffins for the first time in 3 centuries and found you to feast on. Oh, by the way, happy October 1st. So to say you're drained is an understatement. You spent every second you weren't being feasted upon actually dreaming or hallucinating about having a weekend all to yourself, chilling on the couch, snuggled in your softest, snuggliest blanket, soup and a half sandwich on your table tray, just like when you were a kid coming back inside from shoveling the driveway and the sidewalks in minus 20-degree weather. And for those of you who didn't grow up in the northern Midwest, like when you were homesick. Either way, that soup and half sandwich, a warm or cold drink, and some good brain-rotting mind candy on the tube. Oh yeah. Then you feel the fangs sink in and goes your blissful delusion. It's the infernal text notification. Hey, we're all going out tonight. You should come. Inside your traumatized mind, those words echo as a command. You feel the pull of the nest's call. And just like that, you're at war with yourself. You want to say no, but there's this other part whispering, what if they take it personal? What if something happens and I'm not part of it? I'll be on the outside. They'll think I don't like them. They'll think I don't care. So, you put on your mask, practice your lines, and you go, and once you're there, you smile, nod, say all the right things at all the right times, or following others' cues, depending. You're not being fake, but you're on autopilot, because there is not where your mind or your heart is. But you know, if you didn't go, you'd feel guilty as hell. So why do we feel this guilt just for wanting to stay in? For wanting to keep our time for ourselves? Why are we made to feel guilty just for wanting to be left the hell alone on our own time? The big one, especially when it comes to work events, more than friend events, because real friends, they don't pull that shit on you. If they're real friends, they know you and will gladly share the stories with you when you get together because you want to be together, not because you feel obligated to be there. Well, one of the big ones is FOMO, Fear of missing out. Not just on the fun, the memories, the memories in the making, the photos, the inside jokes, the requisite social currency. But there's the fear of judgment too. No one wants to be labeled antisocial, quiet, distant, or the one who never shows up. And let's face it, most of us were raised to believe that being social equals being quote-unquote good somehow. That saying yes means you're polite, and that declining means you're somehow rude or cold or selfish, and that if you say no thank you even once, you'll never be invited again, which was, I guess, a bad thing, at least in their eyes. The world celebrates extroversion. It's easy to feel like there's something wrong with you when you just want to be left alone. But here's the truth. Extroverts really don't seem to understand. Sorry about that. There's power in choosing yourself, especially when the pressure to perform is like a poor man's Las Vegas, loud and always in your face. Or maybe that's just Las Vegas. I've actually never been there. Someone put it in the comments. Let me know. Is that really Las Vegas, just loud and in your face all the time? Because that's how it looks on TV. But anyway, what happens when you start saying no to performative socializing and yes to your needs? First, you get to reclaim your energy. Because showing up when you're running on empty only drains you further. You can't pour from an empty pitcher. And the version of you that shows up out of guilt is not the best version of you anyway. So if you're the kind of person who needs rest, solitude, quiet to recharge, my peeps, remember, it's not necessarily avoidance because you don't like people or that you don't want to hang out. Sometimes it's just that you don't want to hang out on your time. Your time is for maintenance, for self-respect, for filling yourself up with what brings you peace and joy and keeps your heart open to love and care and human fellow feeling. Your time is what makes it possible for you to bring your best self out into the world where you can shine that light and be there for those who need you. But you can't do that if you haven't been there for yourself first. So remember, every time you honor your own limits, you send a power surge through your nervous system that tells the deepest heart of yourself that your surface self knows the score. It knows what you need, and that you love yourself enough to make sure you get it. Eventually, it does get easier to stop putting yourself in psychological harm's way just to keep the peace or do what's expected of you. By reinforcing your own stability, you build a requirement for your peace over the fear of disappointing others. As Marcus Aurelius would say, you cannot control how others feel about you. So when you honor yourself and others are, quote unquote, disappointed in you for doing so, remember that disappointment, it's either a choice that they made to feel that emotion, or it's a manipulative tactic meant to guilt you into submitting to their control. So let's talk about them for a minute. Be prepared for the inevitable guilts. You'll probably hear things like, "Come on, you're no fun anymore," or "You always cancel on us," or "Are you mad at me?" Sometimes it's subtle, most of the time it's really not. But either way, it's an attempt to pull you back into a pattern you've made a decision not to return to. This is where gaslighting or manipulative tactics can show up. The heavy-duty manipulators will try to make you doubt your own mind. It's one of the things they do best. They'll say stuff like, You said you'd be there, even when what you really said was, I'll think about it, or let me get back to you. They may guilt trip you. Well, everyone's going to be there, which for you may cause your brain to retort, internally at least, yeah, that's why I ain't going. They may frame your boundaries as selfish. You only think about yourself lately, to which your brain may well think, yeah, and? But in that moment, despite your brain's witticisms, you might start doubting yourself. Maybe I am being rude. Did I actually agree to this? I could have sworn I said. Pause. Take a breath. And remind yourself, even if you said you would go, you are entitled to change your mind. And remember, setting boundaries does not make you selfish. Honoring your limits does not make you flaky. Choosing yourself does not make you a bad friend. That is their intentional manipulation talking. It's not reality. You are allowed to say, no, not tonight, without apology. And remember, no is a complete sentence. One thing is for certain. When you stop performing, you'll find out who actually respects your boundaries and who just wanted access to you on demand. Some people will fall away. And actually, that's awesome, because if that's what drives them to leave you, they never cared for your well-being anyway. Just what you brought to their table. It's the relationships that stay that are worth investing in. And this way, when you do choose to engage socially, you show up better. You're present, you're rested, you're real. And it's more meaningful because your being there was a choice, not an obligation. Social time doesn't have to be constant to be meaningful. So, how do we handle this for real and without guilt? First and foremost, do an internal check before you commit to something. Ask yourself, do I really want to go? Or is it my guilt telling me I should? If you decide not to, it's best to be simple and kind. Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not up for it today. No thanks, maybe next time. No thanks, but I'll expect to hear all about it tomorrow, or Monday, or whatever day. Reframe to yourself that saying no doesn't mean you're flaking. It doesn't mean you're being rude. It doesn't mean you're failing as a friend. Remind yourself that what you are doing is protecting your peace, and that is allowed, in spite of what the world will tell you. And if none of that helps, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of if I don't go? Once you figure that out, it's surprisingly easy to arrest those fears and toss them into the old circular file, because honestly, the fact is, most people are so involved with themselves that those who aren't trying to manipulate you won't think twice about you not being there. So keep these things in mind, particularly for this upcoming holiday season, because it's October 1st, and that means holiday season is officially in full swing. I'm sure there are Christmas aisles up already in every store. Everybody leaves Halloween behind. Man, that sucks. Oh well. I don't know. I've got my skull, I've got my bats, and I'm a happy camper. But anyway, if anything here spoke to you, I would love to hear from you. How do you cope with peer pressurized or peer pressured socializing? Please feel free to share what works with you, so particularly in the comments, so that others who haven't found their strength can learn from yours. And if you know someone who needed to hear this or needs to hear this, please share the link and maybe think about subscribing. There are helpful links in my beacons tree and on my website. If the dread of the holiday season is coming up on you and you're starting to feel that anxiety and that need to talk to someone, on my website, jacarlton.com, you will find links on the landing page, like in the lower third of them. You will find links to resources that you may need. So please do not hesitate to utilize them or point someone in the proper direction of them. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Until next time, stay well, stay safe, and stay entangled.